Okay, it is 1 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get things started. So up first, we have our Fostering Engagement with Students in Canvas Communication Strategies session. And so I'll go ahead and turn things over to Amy and Dawn.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dawn Pfeifer Reitz, and I am coming to you from Pottstown, Pennsylvania by phone today. About 45 minutes ago, I lost my power due to a storm that moved across the state. So I am not seeing anything or seeing any of you or seeing the slides. So I'm just going to trust that Amy and I are going to put together a really great presentation for you all. And well, I know that we are, and I ask that you just bear with us with this technical aspect of it. So we're excited to have you here at the Fostering Engagement with Students in Canvas Communication Strategy session. We were chosen to participate in this session for some of the innovative and creative ways that we've been able to use engagement strategies through Canvas. So I'm going to allow Amy, my co-presenter, to introduce herself. I'll talk a little bit about myself, and then I will begin our session. Amy?
Thanks, Dawn. My name is Amy Garbrick. I'm the Director of IST Learning Design in the College of IST at University Park. I'm also an adjunct instructor, professor in the College of IST. I typically teach one class a semester. Back to you, Dawn.
Thanks, Amy. So my name is Dawn Pfeifer Reitz, and I'm assistant teaching professor at Penn State Berks, and I am in Communication Arts and Sciences, and I teach exclusively our CAS 100 course, and I'm also our CAS 100 coordinator at Penn State Berks. I have a lot of enthusiasm and experience with utilizing Canvas, and was part of the original pilot that we were doing a few years ago. So I really consider myself to be one of our, maybe not quite super users on our campus, but someone that's really very excited and involved about it. So next slide, Amy. So it's well documented that providing students feedback is a powerful influence on their achievement, and that these concepts that we have available to us in Canvas are really able to operationalize this option for student feedback and engagement. It is most helpful when students receive feedback that is specific and immediate. It is also a very big contributor to student learning, and it really helps our students develop self-reflection skills when they can be provided with an opportunity to see some feedback, hear some feedback, experience some feedback that will help them with the engagement in the class and also the learning in the process. Next slide, Amy. So today, Amy and I are going to be talking a little bit about ways that we can utilize a couple of different strategy areas to push information out to students. I'll be spending a few minutes with you talking about some just-in-time reminders, and then Amy's going to talk a little bit about some customized feedback options. And depending on the time that we have left, we might have some interaction and also some time for question and answer and interaction with each other. Next slide. So today I'm going to be spending some time talking with you about the effective use of Canvas announcements. You can see here that I have a number of different ways that are, I guess you can call them tips and tricks, things that I've sort of explored and put to good use over the years that I've been using Canvas announcements. I'm going to unpack those for you a little bit today. Next slide. The first thing that I want to talk about is this concept of delay posting. The delay posting feature allows you to remind students of any upcoming experiences. This is something that is useful for regular occurrences. It is useful for things that occur every either week or every semester. Next click. This delay posting pre-schedule option allows you to schedule things that happen every semester routinely. So for example, the example I show up on that slide is a reminder for students to complete the SRTEs, and I can pre-schedule that as a delay posting every semester. So that's just one creative way to utilize one of the features in Canvas announcements of delay posting. Next slide. Another use for delay posting I utilize for different reasons. And here we have my Motivation Monday quotes. Every semester I will provide these Motivation Monday quotes for my students as a way to maybe connect with a fun and engaging option for our learning outcomes. The quotes that you see here are often tied to specific learning outcomes for the week, and the students are always excited about when the Motivation Monday quotes will pop up and populate in their Canvas announcements. There was a time a couple of semesters ago where I forgot to populate a couple of weeks worth, and some of my students commented about that and told me that they were actually really disappointed that I didn't have the Motivational Monday quotes popping up. So it was nice that they were missed. Next slide, please. In addition to the delayed posting feature, another really great tip for using Canvas announcements is the copy feature. So you copy from semester to semester. This is easily managed through the import course content feature of the settings part of our Canvas course. Of our Canvas courses, and it's something that I really rely on. I utilize all of these different announcements that are really effective and useful every single semester, and I just copy them over and reschedule a posting time for them for some time during the semester. Next slide, please. A final tip that I want to offer today is the use of the video feature. A lot of times with Canvas announcements, you have the opportunity to share just different updates and things that are going on. And I like to use the access to the record and upload media that you see on the right part of the slide to record a quick little video or something else that I can share with the students. You can see that in the picture, that lovely picture of me on the left, I grabbed a screenshot from a quick little update that I did for some students back in January. This is just a really great way to engage with the students. It allows for increased instructor immediacy, student instructor immediacy, and an opportunity to really just be part of their everyday life. And my favorite part about using the video feature is it gives us an opportunity to show us as instructors in our natural habitat. So for example, the picture that you see there, it was an evening. My son was at a baseball lesson and I was at a restaurant that was right next door waiting for him. And I just sat there and I took a quick little video to just check in and update my students about how things were going with the week. So on to the next slide. Finally, I'd like to share this little announcement pack that I like to use. I create a Word document for each section of my course, and I use that Word document to remind myself what are the important things that need to happen every week. So these are things that are able to be pre-scheduled. So perhaps what I will do is I will pre-schedule a specific announcement to pop up on Thursday if there's a change in our room or a change in assignments that I already know. Sometimes we will go over and meet in the library, so I'll pre-schedule a reminder to go to the library. But this is just a great way for me to not have to remember to think about what those announcements are that need to be communicated. And this little hack, this tool, this Word document, that the announcement schedule that I've created is really particularly helpful for my courses that were designed to be 100% online as opposed to COVID online. So I just like to share that as just something that I've learned along the way as part of my little tips and tricks to best use Canvas announcements to really provide some engaging feedback opportunities. So now I'm going to turn it over to Amy, and I will be back to speak with you towards the end of our time. Amy?
Thanks, Dawn. In my part of the presentation, I'm going to talk about customized feedback to students, and specifically 4 different areas: push notifications, Speedgrader feedback, analytic feedback, which includes the message students who feature. If you're not familiar with that, I'm going to show you that. So first, push notifications. The way that students find out, one way that they find out about what's happening in Canvas is from notifications. And they should set them up, and I suggest you do as well as the instructor, under account settings, and put in the various ways that you want to be contacted, and then account notifications to include what you want to get notifications from. So this column, the first column here, is the notification that's in yellow, is the notifications via SMS, that's via text that goes to your smartphone. And the last column in yellow is the push notifications that go to the app if you have the app on your smartphone, the Canvas app, the Canvas student app for them, and there's a separate Canvas teacher app. So making sure that your notifications are set up in a way, and your students are, so that they can get the feedback that you're providing. On the app itself, this is what it looks like. Under Student Canvas app, you go to menu and settings, and then they can choose different ways they want to get notified. Speedgrader feedback. So within Speedgrader, there are different ways to be able to give students feedback. One way is the inline comments. So you can do inline comments, which is circled in yellow. You can draw, you can highlight text, and just like Google Docs, you can comment on something that they've submitted. Then on the right-hand side, you can give them additional feedback. You can give them written feedback in the comment section. And if you're using Chrome, you can use the speech recognition tool, which is really nice, and just say your comments, and it will automatically, it will type it in the comment field, and then you can hit submit. Other ways to give feedback are audio and video, like Don mentioned. As far as a video recording, often students have said that video comments back are appreciated. So you can do that as well, right within Speedgrader. Next is the analytics. So there's two different analytic tools in Canvas. One is student activity. It's a Penn State tool. You can find out what students are doing or not doing. Perhaps you might want to check in on students who have either not accessed the course or are not completing or clicking on activities that you want them to. The other analytics tool is called New Analytics. That's from Instructure, the company that makes Canvas. And again, you can see course-wide analytics, and you can look at student analytics to get an idea of what's going on. For example, here, the green and the blue show the difference between my sample test student account and the average for the class. So once you know what's happening in a class, then you can decide if you want to message students who. And within the analytics tool, you can message students who have viewed or didn't view things, participated or didn't participate. So you select which option you want, and it will automatically show the students who fit that criteria. They will be BCC'd, so they will not see each other's name when they get the email, and you can write a message there telling them whatever it is you want to, just checking in to make sure that you haven't missed this activity or this assignment. Also, you can, another part of the analytics, you can message students who have scored a particular range of assignments, like you might want to message students who got lower than a 70% on an assignment, or a discussion or a quiz. You might want to message students who are missing or who are late on assignments. So those are other ways that you can let students know and give them custom feedback. Then from the gradebook, there's again a message students who feature. And this tool shows the names of the people there. And you have the choice of haven't submitted yet, haven't been graded, scored less than, or scored more than. So you can give them both feedback to encourage them to complete it. But you could also give them positive feedback. If they were a top scorer or a great job in the assignment, you can give that as well. So these are different ways that you can give customized feedback to students based on what they are doing in the class, what they've clicked on and what they've submitted. So we have 3 scenarios that we were going to give you, and basically I'm going to open up the poll, and we're going to give you a scenario and see if you could vote on, there is no right answer, and you can select more than one option, but you should be able to select what you would do for this particular option. So some students have not turned in an assignment. What would you do? Out of use message students who from the gradebook, use message students who from the analytics, use comments in the Speedgrader, send an announcement to all students, send an email to all students, or find those students in analytics who see to see what they have accessed and when. And if you have comments about that, go ahead and put that in the Q&A as well. So I'll give you another few seconds to do the poll. So from the results, it looks like the top choice from people was to use message students who from the gradebook. That's great to let students know that they've not turned into an assignment. Maybe that's a reminder. You can even do that before the assignment's due to see who has not turned it in. The next poll is, hang on just a minute. A student has complained that another student in their group has not responded for 2 weeks. What would you do? So go ahead and respond in that poll. Same choices as before. Send a student message through Message Students Who. Use comments in Speedgrader. Send an announcement to all students, send an email to all students, or find out what's going on as far as the analytics. I see in the chat somebody said I would reach out to individual students via email with ways that they could earn some points or the assignment submitted late. That's for the previous scenario. Great. So a few more seconds on the poll for people to answer. I see Kate has asked, do the students know where you pull the information from? I assume you mean the analytics. So I don't think students are in general aware of analytics. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. Great question, Eileen. Does student access of course materials to the mobile app get captured in the analytics report? I assume they do, but perhaps either Kate or Amanda, who know a lot about Canvas, could jump in and help us with that question. I'm going to end the poll and show the results. So for this second scenario, find the student in analytics to see what they have accessed and when seems to be the top choice. Okay, I'm going to go on and share the third scenario that we have. Some students have scored poorly on an assessment. What would you do? Same choices, just a different scenario. So this is after the assessment has already been done. What kind of feedback would you give them, or what would you do? So Eileen, I see you say faculty have indicated that the mobile app access is not captured. I could check into that, Eileen, unless, Kate, do you know?
I do not know offhand, sorry.
Eileen, we could check into that and get back to you. Okay, a couple more seconds on the poll. Okay, I'm going to share the results. It looks like the Message Students Who from the gradebook is the top choice of people with use comments in Speedgrader. So thank you for doing our little poll to see kind of what people are doing. One caveat I would mention is that I don't believe the comments in the Speedgrader get notified to the students. So I've had students who don't know where the comments are in the Speedgrader. So that's something you might want to show your students. They can click on grades and look at the feedback, because sometimes students don't see that feedback. All right, back to you, Dawn.
All right, Amy, thank you. And thanks for facilitating those polls. And I think one of the things that I'd like to just add about the polls is that there's sort of more than one way to skin a cat, and we all approach things as instructors in different ways. So one of the reasons why there were so many different options for how you would respond to all of our scenarios is because it might just be the way you prefer to do it, or you might be working in one part of Canvas as opposed to another, and it's just easier to start from that perspective. So there really is no wrong answer. It's just more so what is that you're comfortable with. So today we've introduced quite a few of creative and fun ways, and maybe even unique ways for you to engage with your students. Remember that providing feedback is an extremely powerful tool. It's a achievement. We encourage you to use the tools that Canvas provides us. We encourage you to become super users of these different options for ways that you can make your life a lot easier and make our students' learning experience that much richer. So at this moment, we'd like to open it up to Q&A, and perhaps even any creative uses that we didn't explore today, or things that we did that you've used, or any ways that we could help you answer any questions that you might have.
So Dawn, I can read some of the Q&A questions since I don't think you can see them well on your phone. The first
I can't, nope, thank you.
How can you, if it's for you, Dawn, how can we encourage students to read the announcements?
Can you repeat it? It broke up, I'm sorry.
How can we encourage students to read the announcements? to read them.
Yeah, and that's one thing that, yep, that's one thing that I talk about excessively in the first couple of weeks of the semester. I actually pull up on the overhead screen projector in the classroom. I pull up the announcements. I talk about how important they are and why it's important that the students use them. And I even write in my syllabus that I ask them to check their Canvas announcements at least once a day. And one of the things that I do indicate also, it's sort of a little teaser to them, is that once in a blue moon, I might have to cancel class, or we might do something fun. And if you miss an announcement, you might miss one of these canceled opportunities or one of these fun opportunities. So that's one of the ways that I encourage announcements.
Dawn, I also do that in my class. I tell them I'm sending out, I don't use the email tool unless I'm emailing teams or individual students. Everything else is announcements. So they're going to miss things if they are not checking their announcements in a timely fashion. So, so another question, Andrea asks, are there better or worse approaches for those scenarios? So I would say yes, I think there are better or worse depending if you're not getting students to read kind of the comments in the Speedgrader, then an email I think would be the next step, because they might not know how to see the comments in the Speedgrader.
One of the, oh, sorry, Amy. I was going to suggest on the comments thing, when I'm using an assignment that I use comments for, I actually put the link to the directions to how to access the comments into the assignment itself. So near the bottom of the text part of the assignment, I write, you'll expect to receive comments from me, and this is how you access them. And then that just helps them understand that a little bit more.
Thanks, Dawn. And in my resident freshman class, I actually show them with my test account how we go in there and see them, because they often they miss those valuable comments. So another question, let's see, from Rob, can we use push notifications with Jabber? Rob, I don't know the answer to that. Maybe somebody else might know. To my knowledge, it's the app and SMS, text on your smartphone. Kate, do you know any different than that?
That's all that I'm aware of as well.
Okay, another thing we could check into. So Andrea, do we have recent numbers on student use of the mobile app? Yeah, I'm not doing so well. Kate, do you know that?
We'll try to find that
We
too.
can find out, Andrea. Sorry, you guys are asking great questions. You're stumping me.
I just wanted to let you guys know that some of the other Q&A questions regarding the comments,
Okay.
people are asking about, do the comments, is that part of the notifications? In terms of, encouraging students to read them, can you also encourage them to set up their notifications for Canvas that would include notifications about comments? And then also, is there a way for them to be forwarded to email, which basically, if there is a notification and the notification they choose is email, then all of those things are true.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Kate. I was starting at the top of the list, but I guess I really should go down. Yes. So email is key. And I tell my students, check your Penn State email account, put on there that the notifications would go to email. I don't know if it's a feature that is coming with Canvas notifications or not, but currently you can't see the comments in the gradebook. You can see the grades and grade changes, but you don't see the comments. So somebody can correct me if I'm wrong about that. I'm hoping that that will change with Canvas notifications. But under that notification tab, there's a bunch of choices for both students and faculty to decide what it is you want to get and how it is you want to get it. Other questions, Kate, that we can address?
Let's see here. One of the questions is, how do you manage if there are groups with members who don't contribute or participate on an assignment?
Dawn, do you want to go?
Well, I will take that from the group perspective first. I am a very hands-on type of instructor. If I hear feedback from my groups that certain person like Amy is not contributing, I will individually reach out to Amy and inquire as to what's going on. and I will typically do that through pull them out of class afterwards or beforehand, or try to connect with them through email or through one of the methods that we've talked about. And then what I also do then is with the group, if it's continuing after my first intervention, I will ask my group to just keep notes about everybody's participation, just so that way, if we have an issue and I have to follow up with that, I have some data to be able to follow up with. Amy?
Yeah, I've had, in IST, we do a lot of group things. And so we try to hit groups and teamwork very early in our curriculum. And then we try to have them do an MOU and stuff in the beginning so that everybody's on the same page. But we do have groups that the group member is quote unquote fired from the group and they need to do the assignment on their own. So kind of setting up groups early, the way that you want them to go, I think is a good choice. And then telling your, if your students are saying somebody's kind of not there anymore, you can see that and verify that in the analytics often that they're not logging in, they're not clicking on things, and they're not turning things in. I hope that answered the question. Somebody asked about push notifications, so I just wanted to add, part of my dissertation work was on push notifications, and basically it's reminding you, and there is some sweet spot to being reminded. You get too many reminders, whether it's CSV or Walmart or whatever you get text messages from, or you get too many and it becomes overload, you get not enough and it's not enough reminders. So it's the same way with push notifications from Canvas. But it's nice that the user can select what you want to get. The downside is you're currently selecting for all your courses. I saw on the Canvas site that it looked like an update will include you being able to choose which courses you want to get notifications and which courses you don't. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but that would be great because then there'd be more selection for the user. But push notifications,
that's coming soon.
Yeah, thanks, Don. Or I'm not sure who said that, but thank you. Was that you, Kate?
That was me.
Yeah, I thought I saw that on a list of things that it was coming soon, and that would be great to be able to get notifications. Other questions, Kate?
Another question is about the storage space regarding doing video or audio feedback, which is one of my favorite things. Since there's limited storage space per course, do those media comments apply to the storage space? Is that personal space? How does that work?
I particularly do not have an answer to that, but that's a really good question, and I'm not sure if that's housed right in the course, in the Canvas course itself, or if it's housed in Kaltura. I don't know if any of our other experts out there today have that answer, but that's something, if not, we can follow up on.
I think if they do feedback, if they specifically selected Kaltura to make it, then it would certainly be housed in there. The other options, my gut reaction is to say that the 1.6 gigs is a lot of space, and unless you're going to be reciting hours and hours and hours worth of feedback, you wouldn't have to worry about running out of space.
Yeah, that's probably true. Good points. Good questions.
Sorry, just to jump in, this is Kim. I was doing a little bit of looking in the background because I also didn't think it counted against your file storage, and I found a document I will post in the Q&A saying that your audio and video feedback does not count towards your file storage limit.
Excellent, Kim. Thank you for that.
Sure, no problem.
Kate, is there one more question that we could answer before we give our wrap up?
Yes. There are a lot of questions about analytics, so we're going to try to give you guys some links to some of the analytics information. Sorry, I'm just looking through here. In the setting, this is just somebody commenting that in the settings that you can choose to have a certain number of announcements that are visible on the front page, so that helps to bring attention to those announcements as well. Does the students' access of course materials through the mobile app get captured in the analytics report? So yes, this is more about the analytics. Is that in that analytics report? I see Amy shaking her head.
Yeah, maybe a future session at some point could be just on analytics if people are asking a lot of questions about that.
Definitely. And one last thing, Caitlin is asking, are the video comments accessible to students who need to use screen readers?
That's a great question. I don't know that. So we could check into that
I'm
as
not
well.
sure of that off the top of my head either. And if someone can make sure I get whoever asked that question, I can find out that answer too.
Great. Thank you,
So
everybody.
Amy, is there any last minute things that you want to say before I wrap up, Amy?
No, go ahead, Dawn.
Okay, last slide then. So thank you everyone for your time and your attention and your bearing with us with the elements in our technology today. Amy and I had not met each other before, working on this for for Canvas Day, and we're excited to be able to collaborate. We will be posting our PowerPoint into the question and answer of the chat, or wherever Amy's posting it, she's taking care of that for me, and our contact information is in there. I encourage everybody to continually explore things through Canvas, whether it is Canvas's Twitter account or the announcements that Canvas provides for all of their different features, and just check on things because things change all the time, and you never know what you're going to find that's going to make you a more engaging communication strategist through Canvas. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. I'll post the link to the presentation in the chat. Back to you, Kate.
Thank you, Amy and Dawn. We appreciate you presenting on that. And we will leave the Q&A up. I'm not sure if all of the questions were gotten to. So Amy, if you do end up sticking around, you're welcome to go ahead and just type the answers into the Q&A. But also, if your question didn't get answered, please reach out to Amy and Dawn. Their emails are on the screen. So